Before computers went online, sometimes they had to make a phone call. Episode 13, How Computers Used the Telephone. Hi, I'm Foggy Michael, and welcome to Computers Before the Internet. In the last episode, we talked about how computers could transmit information as bits, ones and zeros. But that raises an interesting question. How did you get those bits from a computer in one place to a computer someplace else? Remember, this was long before the internet, but there was already a communications network that reached almost everywhere. The telephone system. There was just one problem. Computers worked with digital information. Telephone lines were designed to carry human voices, so we needed something in between. That something was called a modem. The word modem comes from two words, modulator and DEModulator, but we do not need to get too technical. Here is the important part. The modem took the computer's digital information, the bits, and converted it into signals that could travel over the telephone line. At the other end, another modem converted those signals back into digital information the other computer could understand. Bits became tones. The tones traveled over the telephone lines, and at the other end, the tones became bits again. Pretty clever. And here is one of my favorite parts. Some early systems used something called an acoustic coupler. You actually dialed the telephone, then you took the telephone handset and put it into two rubber cups on the coupler. One end communicated through the telephone's microphone, and the other listened through its speaker. Yes, we really connected computers like this. Not every modem used an acoustic coupler. Some connected directly to the telephone line. But the acoustic coupler is certainly one of the more interesting ways we did it. And if you ever heard an old modem connecting, you probably remember this sound. Those squeals, whistles, and chirps were not just crazy electronic noises. They were carrying information. They were talking with tones. Now, how fast was all of this? Well, some early computers operated at about 300 bits per second. 300. That was fine for text. If somebody was typing at a terminal, letters could appear on the screen as they typed. But photographs, music, video, forget it. A 5 megabyte photograph at 300 bits per second would take roughly 37 hours, almost 2 days. And sending one of my videos at 300 bits per second, you might want to pack a lunch, and maybe even 2 lunches. There's something else that may seem strange today. The computer you were communicating with might not even be in the same building. You could be sitting at a terminal, basically a keyboard and a screen, while the actual computer was miles away. The telephone connection carried the information back and forth between you and that distant computer. We will come back to that idea in another episode. And not every connection worked the same way. Sometimes you dialed the telephone number when you wanted to connect. That was dial-up. Businesses and other organizations could also have a leased line, a dedicated telephone connection that was available all the time. None of this was the internet. But think about what had happened. Engineers had figured out a way to make computers communicate over long distances by using a communications network that was already there, the telephone network. Computers could now exchange information even when they were miles apart. And that was another important step toward the connected world that eventually followed. So, before your computer could go online, sometimes it really did have to pick up the phone. I'm Foggy Michael. Thank you for watching.